While we're talking about the Senate, today is National Flag Day, a day to celebrate Australia's national flag. What a great day. And so Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price thought it would be an appropriate day to don the Australian flag in the Senate. And she spoke in the Senate today about the importance of the Australian flag.
Today is National Flag Day. When one understands the history behind our national flag, when one values its symbolic weight, it's beyond comprehension that the burning of our national flag is not a criminal offence. Like most Australians, I was appalled by the footage of pro-Palestinian protesters burning our national flag in Melbourne on Sunday the 3rd of August. That event coincided with a disruptive, disgraceful and divisive rally across the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Now, who could disagree with any of that? It's National Flag Day. You have an Indigenous senator draped in the Australian flag in the Australian Parliament. It's hard to think of anything more appropriate. But Greens gonna green. Green Senator Nick McKim decided to make it look like he possibly had a lobotomy and made a comparison to the Palestinian flag.
And I do want to make the point that if it's okay for Senator Nampijinpa-Price to wrap herself in this flag, I would intend to wrap myself in a Palestinian flag and come into the chamber and exercise the same rights that Senator Nampijinpa-Price is currently exercising.
Where do you begin? Where do you begin? How is it in any way the same? And I take his point that they've tried to wear keffiyehs and Palestinian flags and stuff, whatever, in Parliament before, and they've been told not to because it's a prop. But the Palestinian flag is not the national flag of Australia being worn on National Flag Day in the Australian Parliament.
Oh, this bloke's kidding himself. And look, I'd have to say off the top, if he is so proud of the Palestinian flag and what Palestine stands for and he wants to drape himself in it, he's welcome to move there. He could move there tomorrow and there would be absolutely no issue. We could have the pre-selection
in his seat. Then.
Exactly. But firstly, it's really sad that we're in a period in our country where the idea of someone wearing an Australian flag in Parliament would be provocative or like offensive to some or just even out of the ordinary. I mean, it was a very symbolic thing, as you say, First Nations senator, and making a very important point about the idea of people in our country burning our flag at protests. Clearly, the Greens have not learnt their lesson from the last federal election where they got wiped out largely in the lower house and took went way too hard on the Palestinian issue, backed one side, biased, offensive. And so for him to even say that, I think, well, when you talk about the two sides, he'd be backing in a fight here. It's Jacinta-Price any day of the week.
And their argument here is that in the Senate, props are banned. But how is the Australian flag a prop? The Australian flag is what you're elected to serve and defend as a member of Parliament. It's what unites us all. It's not just a prop like a Palestinian flag or a lump of coal or a burqa. Some iconic prop moments in Australian Parliament. Wow. But it is not a prop. It is our national flag. It's National Flag Day. If there was ever a time to remind people why you're in Parliament, why you're serving the people, it would be today holding that flag. And that is exactly what Jacinta-Price did. But I think it's at the point now where we can conclusively say that the Greens just hate Australia. They just hate this country. They won't stand in front of an Australian flag. They have more loyalty to Palestine than to the people of Australia. They're more concerned about foreign conflicts than Australian families. And at what point do we just go, you actually do not serve the Australian people? Why are you in Parliament? Full stop.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, to try and make a direct comparison between the flag of the country which you were elected to serve and a foreign flag is ridiculous. It's offensive. An Australian wearing an Australian flag in the Australian Parliament does not mean that you then get to come into the Australian Parliament and wear a foreign flag as though you were a representative of a foreign nation. As James said, if you want to be representative of a foreign nation, you can go over there. I mean, Nick McKim, if you want to go and try and get yourself a job in the ministry at Hamas, be my guest. I'd love to see you do it. I would love to see you do it, and I'd love to interview you afterwards if you manage to survive the exercise. Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price hit back at Nick McKim this afternoon talking to Danica DiGiorgio, who was filling in for Chris Kenny.
this is the Greens for you. They care more about other countries than they do our own country. They're part of the reason why our country sees so much division right now. And you know what? I will stand up for Australia all the time. I love this country.
Good on her. Good on her is all I can say.
What happened to the Greens? You've got to ask yourself out loud. I mean, they used to be a party, and Bob Brown was a great leader. Bob Brown's now taking a stance against a couple of wind projects. It was environment first, a couple of other social issues, and now it's just hate. And the hate shown from something like that to be opposing the Australian flag in Parliament and wanting to wear a Palestinian flag instead. I mean, the bloke's tone deaf. Absolutely tone deaf.